Now, the matter of evolution is a huge thing that could occupy us for hours. I'll just make 2 points. One, there are 2 issues here. The first is, can you logically deduce atheism from biology? And that clearly is false, because there are many people, as you say, who accept evolution at different levels and believe in God. So the first thing is, can you logically deduce a worldview, atheism, from a biological theorem? The answer to that is no, because that's another category mistake. But then the second question, which is a scientific question, is, does the Darwinian, neoDarwinian synthesis, or the modern synthesis as it's called these days, bear all the weight that's put on it? And I'm not a biologist, but what I find absolutely fascinating is that the theory, the neoDarwinian theory, is now under attack as never before, which is why I wrote my latest book that you mentioned, Cosmic Chemistry, Do God and Science Mix, to point out that within the scientific establishment, among people who are still looking for a naturalistic solution, they are saying not that Darwinism must be refined, but it must be replaced. Why? And I think that I understand correctly that the real problem brings us straight back to the Speech Acts, is that the different levels of informational dimension to all the levels in biology, from the human genome to epigenetics and all that kind of thing, are just way outside the capacity of simple things like mutation and natural selection to produce. So I'm fascinated by this, sitting on the outside and watching in. I think mathematicians have got, I must confess to you, a serious track record right from the early days of doubting the Darwinian mechanism. But now the scientific reasons are coming in. And I think we need to be open to the fact, and this is now the major issue, and that is the worldview one, that there are 2 ways of looking at the question of the universe. They're top-down and bottom-up, is the crude way of putting it. Either the universe, the mass energy, or nothing, quantum vacuum, is the basic thing and everything is derived from it, including mind and the idea of God, because there isn't a God. Or there's both top-down and bottom-up, that God caused the universe to be. Now, you hinted at a question a little bit earlier, which I will address now. The cause behind the universe existing. One of the most interesting things from a linguistic perspective, I find, is the statement at the beginning of John's Gospel. In the beginning was the Word. That is, the Word already was. This, to my mind, is a clear existence statement. The ancient Greeks were very interested in 2 categories: things that are eternal and things that came to be. Now, translations obscure this. In the beginning was the Word already was. He never came to be. But just a verse or 2 later it says, all things. Now, frequently the contemporary translations say all things were made by him. But actually the Greek text says all things came to be through him. So there is that apposition. All things came to be through the Word who is God. Now, that is fascinating to my mind, that this is saying that the prime reality is God, and God is spirit. He caused everything to be, even though he himself didn't come to be. And therefore the atheistic worldview is the bottom-up one. The Christian worldview is the exact opposite. And what fascinates me about the contemporary developments in science is the realization that information is coming rapidly to be regarded as a fundamental quantity or quality that cannot be derived from matter and energy. Now, if that's the case, as I believe it to be, you cannot get meaning from material process. That's the end of materialism straight away from within.